Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Mattson Heiner
Better red than dead.
and Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
We always appreciate your help growing the podcast. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. Go check out our website, whatsourverdict.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter and get exclusive content and updates. Pick up some sweet, sweet merch and interact with us. Question we always ask is if you've ever found yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie. To help with that question, each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. This is our spoiler-free review. We'll rate these movies on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should definitely watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch it at all. Our deep dive reviews are available every Monday wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. Today we're reviewing Space Jam: A New Legacy. It was released July 16th, 2021. It was written by Jewel Taylor and Tony Rattenmeyer. It was directed by Malcolm D. Lee. It stars LeBron James, Don Cheadle, Cedric Joe, Sue Bird, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, and Inika Ogwumike. A rogue artificial intelligence kidnaps the son of famed basketball player LeBron James, who then has to work with Bugs Bunny to win a basketball game. Yeah, so I'll be honest. I had a oral surgery on Thursday, so when I watched this on Friday, I don't remember most of it, but in detail. But I remember thinking that this movie is really not good, and I remember thinking, what a shame that this is the follow-up to a very entertaining original movie, because it actually had a story, the original one, and this one, of what I remember of it, had very little story. So if you're looking for a deep dive into a cool story or something that had a point, I don't think this is the movie for you. If I'm diving right in and just making this a quick and dirty spoiler-free review for me, I'm going to say skip it. Especially if you're, I guess let me rephrase. I would say skip it if you're watching it like me as an adult man who watched the original one as a kid and has since watched the original and thought, this is a really cute movie, especially for kids. This one just seemed lazy. Like, let's make some money off of an old title that did really well, that was an actually entertaining movie. And so they threw this thing together with LeBron James and said, great, it's going to make tons of money just because it has the Space Jam title. But they didn't take time to actually make it an entertaining or good movie. So that's my opinion. Your kids are going to love it because it's cartoons and it's mayhem and it's hijinks. But, adults, you're not going to enjoy this thing. So I'm still going to give it a skip it. But, yeah, so that's me. Mattson, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I like that you broke it up, JJ. I watched it with a few of my nephews and then some other of my nephews' friends. And so I would say take Bodie, for instance, one of my nephews, he's 5. Bodie loved this movie. This movie, immediately when it finished, it got all the kids to go out and play basketball. So did it achieve hyping up basketball? And did I see Bodie try some new creative moves because of what he saw on the screen? It worked. He did that. And I was like, Bodie, was this a good movie? He's like, yeah, it was a great movie. I was like, why'd you like it? He said, it taught me about basketball. I was like, okay. So from a 5-year-old's opinion, solid movie. But as you got older, and like my nephew Tucker, who's 13 at this point, like he definitely was not captivated by it. And he could see, it's funny, he's become like a little movie critic himself, and he saw a lot of plot holes. He was really confused about algae, the algorithm, and like the motivations, where that came from, like how that even fit into the story that wasn't a story. So I think as you get up the pecking order of age, the flaws of this quickly come to the surface. So with that being said, though, try to remember that this movie should be and probably was geared towards kids. But as we know, like JJ and people like me and Ian who've seen the original, you're trying to straddle both lines. But even still, I think this movie is a definite skip it. If you are an adult, are your kids going to be entertained because they're kids and they love shiny things and cartoons and whatnot? I think they'll still enjoy it. But are you going to go out and get HBO just for this? No, don't do it.
Sold. All right, Ian, wrap up our spoiler-free.
You bet. So my big thing with this movie is, like it's geared towards kids, right? But then Warner Brothers throws all this stuff in about like different movies they've made that no kid would have ever watched. So it was kind of weird from that perspective to be like, well, it's made for kids, but then they bring in this stuff that kids wouldn't recognize. So is it for adults? But adults hate it. So it was just kind of it was a weird movie. And I felt like Warner Brothers was trying too hard to say their name as many times as they could throughout this movie. So, and then I'm just going to reiterate all the points you guys have jumped on. Like it wasn't good. Like that. LeBron James is definitely not an actor. I'll throw that out there, which is why I think they turned him into a cartoon for half the movie. But yeah, it was just not good. And I'm going to say not impressed. I don't know where all this skip it nonsense came from, but I'm going to say not
I
impressed.
forgot. Yeah, I'll change those. Good call, Ian. Keep going.
This one deserves the Superman meme for sure.
I forgot.
Right, I got to change your name completely for that. Well, yeah, I blame it on the fact that I'm really high on pain meds. So
definitely not impressed.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny that in IMDb, wherever they put in the names of the basketball players, is that's the other thing I thought they got did dirty. They were in there for like their real subs for maybe like 7 seconds or something, and then their characters in the actual movie, I don't know, were just meh.
Well,
Except Damian Lillard's character, it was kind of cool. He definitely got some screen time from an animation perspective, at least.
Yeah.
and I feel like this is a movie that if you're going to make should be heavy on the nostalgia.
Mhm.
And that just wasn't in here. Like,
Yeah.
even the Space Jam song, they like play it for a couple seconds and then that's it. Like it was just weird. I expected there to be a lot more to be able to point back to. Oh yeah, I remember this in the original Space Jam. So
Yeah.
another kind of knock on it.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into a lot of that stuff in the deep dive, but I had some issues with the bad guy animations too. And because I was flipping through and doing like the cast list, and I'm like, those guys are actually in this movie? Like, I didn't realize who they were. And that was one of the big, anyway, I don't want to dive in too deep on that. We'll talk about that in the deep dive. So with that said, join us for our deep dive, which will be available on Monday, the 19th of July. And you can listen to even more critique this in detail and one of the things that we liked and didn't like, mostly it sounds like. So join us for that wherever podcasts are found. Mattson, tell them where else they can find us.
If you just are waiting to hear the rest of Space Jam and chime into the conversation, guys, Facebook and Instagram, most especially from a social perspective, check us out at whatsaverdict.com. We're about to get into some new movies here upcoming. JJ, make sure you tell us what that is. And then finally, I mean, you want to listen to us where podcasts are found, just like Jay just said at the beginning of this, gone on Stitcher, Spotify, or around. Come check us out.
Absolutely. And I actually got to pull up my list because what's coming up next week.
Oh, I know it. Is it the G.I. Joe movie?
Oh, yeah. Because so Snake Eyes. We'll be reviewing Snake Eyes next week. We'll do our nice spoiler free for that as well. And so tune in next week for Snake Eyes. And I want to say high hopes, but I don't have high hopes. I love that they're rebooting the G.I. Joe universe. So hopefully it's better than the original stuff, but I still don't have high hopes. They haven't proven that they can do that stuff yet. Though I love Henry Golding, so I'm really excited about him being the main character. Anyway, though eventually he's got to stop talking because Snake Eyes doesn't talk. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, with that, check us out. Tell us what you want to watch, what you want us to watch and review and interact with us. We love for you to do that. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!